I never thought you would take over my mind, 'cause I've been lost, but I'm giving you all of my time. Isn't that good enough? Changing my patterns a lot. Yeah, I never thought I'd be sitting here wrapped in your arms. So let go of the things you hear. I'm not going anywhere without you. So put a little faith in me, though you're scared. No, I made it hard for you, but I can't. Now I wanna make you part of my plans. Put a little faith in me, though you're scared. Sometimes I feel like we're getting nowhere, nowhere, and nowhere, no. But I'm still here, hope that we will get there, and get there, and get there together. Like no one else, you have a routine with your hair. You hide your face, but you're so pretty.
That's the good stuff. Don't forget, you can get your own Project Z28 merchandise at the Teespring store. Link is down below. Anyhow, once upon a time, there was a beautiful 1991 Z28. It was completely stock. Nobody had ever messed with it. It ran fine, ran a little bit hot, but ran fine. And then one day, this YouTuber, L to the W, decided to strip it down to a short block, add a big cam, heads, intake, and all this stuff, and has had nothing but problems with it ever since. So it goes without saying, when you modify cars, you do this stuff, you're gonna run into these issues and problems. There's no set guideline. When you add all this stuff, there's a lot of stuff you have to figure out. And so the point of this video today is going to be two things: would I have done this again, and then two, what are my future plans for this car? So starting out with number one, would I have done this again? Probably not. I probably wouldn't have gone as far as what I've gone now. I think I would have stopped at the wheels. First thing I did was I ordered the wheels, and then we had fitment issues with that. I've had a lot of people actually ask me about the wheels, and they didn't fit stock. Remember, I had to get these ungodly large spacers that push the wheels out to get it to fit, because the hub bore on this car was too large to fit these wheels. So when I did the brake upgrade, they actually changed out the spindles, and I had to get a smaller spindle and do the brake system to get these wheels to fit on. I'm glad everybody likes them. I mean, I spent an ungodly amount of time trying to find these wheels, something I thought would look really good, and so far it seems pretty positive. A lot of people like them, but yeah, you're not slapping these on the car originally. You're going to have to do some work. I mean, especially with it being lowered, it would not fit on the factory brakes because it pushed the wheels out too far with the spacers I had on here. So you're going to have to modify the spindles if you want to try to run these wheels. But I think I would have stopped at the wheels, the brakes, because the brakes were definite. They had to have been done because these cars were just horrible for braking. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I mean, I have a whole Z28 playlist, but basically I have like a double piston setup off of like a 93 and up Z28 on here. So there's some modifying because those parts don't work. So basically it's like a different spindle that allows that bigger brake caliper to slide over that. So anyhow, I think I would have stopped with the suspension, the brakes, the rims, and the Borla, the cat back. I think I probably would have stopped at that because the headers were a royal pain. Now it's making everything I want to do super hard, and then spent so much time and money, way more than I anticipated, on putting into this car, building up this engine, and now we look at it, I'm having problems, whether it be the cam too big or maybe there's some other issues going on. So I don't know. I don't think I would have gone this far into this build, right? You know, do I have any regrets? Kind of, sort of. when I get it working and everything's running, I'm not going to regret it. But as of right now, I just really wish I had a nice car. I could just bump the key and go enjoy and drive it and have it look nice. Maybe it wouldn't be the fastest thing, but it is what it is now. So where are we going from here? I'm going to try a few things with this stock engine as of right now to try to get it running. I have some concerns. Last time it was running, I was getting a lot of like steam type stuff blowing out of the filter, the breather on the passenger side. So that's telling me maybe I'm having some compression issues with one of the cylinders. Maybe there's excessive blow by. I don't think a valve is sticking. It's a brand new heads. It shouldn't be. I don't think we bent any valves during it, because when I turned over the engine, I mean, by hand, everything had compression. Everything was pumping up fine. So I don't think there's. But I might just have it be a simple head gasket issue too, because I mean I got a little bit of a leak. I mean, it's nothing massive. I got a puddle maybe that big, the size of a coffee cup or so underneath the car. It's not massive, it's just a little bit. So something's trickling somewhere. I'm not sure, like I said, if the head gasket's bad. This car did run extremely hot before I even put it together. If you watch one of my videos, between the radiator and the condenser, it was jammed from top to bottom full of leaves. But I mean, even these cars brand new, my 92 ran extremely hot. In bumper to bumper traffic, that thing was pegging like 260. Both fans running. And they did this for emissions, but they put these things at the peak of overheating. So I don't know, maybe there's some warpage in the block. I don't know. I mean, I never had any leaks before, but I also changed the cylinder heads. And I think with the thinner gaskets, you have less tolerance for any movement in there. You know, so I don't know. So I'm going to try to work to get this car running as it is the best I can. A good subscriber, Sparty Nation, pointed out, you know, like the spark plugs. Like I said, I really don't know crap about spark plugs, how to gauge them for an engine, because they all have different temperatures, heat ranges, things like that. I use the recommended spark plug that the head manufacturer recommended, because there's a different type of seat, like a different type of bottom that threads in there, and that's what they recommended. Now I can use that and change the heat range. I don't know enough. I'll probably have to maybe get with I can get with Ken from First TPI and have him look at the spark plugs and maybe give me some suggestions. So like I said, the game plan for now is just kind of work on what I got here, tweak it, see if we can't get it to run. He did bring up a good point, which I didn't even think about, is I was having idle issues. So there's a screw that pushes the throttle blade back and forth, and what I didn't account for is when you move that, you're also moving on the other side of the intake the throttle position sensor. So as I'm doing one thing, the computer's probably countering the other thing. So what I have to do is reset and check where my throttle position sensor's at, and maybe, you know, that's the weird thing with these computer control cars. One thing upsets the other, so I'm going to have to check the throttle position sensor. That's the first thing Ken said. Check that. He recommended plugging up the little hole in the thing, make sure the idle air control valve is actually pulling air past the blade and stuff like that. Although the tuner did see it moving, he does see that the idle air control valve is moving. He set the idle for 800, but the car, for whatever reason, is not capable of doing it. I said, understand this car uses speed density. There's a MAP sensor, manifold absolute pressure sensor, that's on the side of the intake, and it plugs into a vacuum port that goes directly into the intake. And what the computer needs to know is how much vacuum is actually inside that intake that the pistons and stuff are creating through there to adjust the fueling. This cam is so big and lopey, I'm running into very low vacuum. I'm losing my power brakes. I know some people mentioned like the vacuum can, which, yeah, that would help out my power brakes, but that's not going to help vacuum inside the intake, and that's what the computer needs to sense. So it could be possible. Guy I've been talking to, Cam Gardner on Instagram, he sent me a link to a cam that looks perfect, and I don't know why Comp Cams didn't recommend it, or I didn't find it. It does say new, so maybe it just came out, but it does say it's for tuned port engines, so that looks promising. So I'm looking that route too. But if I put in a new cam, because this cam, pulling a cam out why the engine's in the car is a major pain. But what I'm seriously thinking about doing, if I end up having to do the cam, I think the engine's coming out and a new one's going in, and it's not going to be LS. It's still going to be a 350 block. The one I'm looking at is still quite pricey. I believe it's about $2,200. It's a GM Performance short block. The advantage is it's a 4-bolt main. It's got strong connecting rods, hypertetic pistons, and it's a new block. Everything's new. It's fresh. We'll have, I believe, from what I read, like the CC heads I have on here should have the compression ratio on that engine at 9.6, which is 0.6 higher than what this car was originally, which was like 9-1. So maybe with the slightly thinner gasket on that, we can bump it to 10-1. But I don't even know if I want to play around with these thin head gaskets anymore, man. They just seem a little bit too risky. But even at 9, even just say we'll round it out to 9.5-1, I think would be a good compression ratio for a larger cam and stuff like that. So I'm seriously looking that route, but I'm not going to do it until this garage is built and I can get a lift in there, because I cannot lay on this floor and do this. A lift would be really beneficial, especially for pulling the engine out. I could put it in the air, take out what I need, I can bring it down, and the benefit is too, I can bring the car up a little bit so that way I can work on it, because right now, as low as this car is, it's like it just kills my back to bend over that far, because everything is so low to the ground, especially now it's been lowered. So having it on a lift where I can like raise it up and bring like the fender to like waist level, and the engine's easy to, and I can work on stuff without too much bending. So that's my game plan, is wait to see get the garage, put in a lift, and then possibly pull this engine out and replace it with something else. So I mean, if you guys want to help with the build, I mean, I hate asking for stuff. I've never asked for stuff in my life. I served my country. I've never asked for anything. But links down below if you want to make a direct donation through PayPal. I have a Patreon set up, which I really need to do something else for that. I really need to offer some benefits. I keep saying that, but I'm going to look into changing that. Offer people that maybe give like $3 a month special videos. Like, you'll get to see the videos first before anybody else, and then you get more interactive content via that if you subscribe to the Patreon. So that's stuff I'm going to do. I just need to change that page up and like reflect that a little bit more. But now that I know YouTube a little bit better, I know how to make the videos private and just have a link, and I can just send it out to Patreon people, so you guys will be the first ones to see it and won't have any ads on it. So that would be the benefit to that. Yeah, I've had a few people make the comment about like, oh my God, you asked for stuff and you have all these cars. Yeah, you know what? I got this much money coming in, and then you have car payment, car insurance, mortgage, and then there's nothing left. And I'm providing this content. Money's coming out of my pocket to buy these cars, to provide content. My time and stuff goes into this stuff. So, it's not, I believe, unreasonable to ask if people want to buy like a shirt to bring in money, or just donate a few dollars, or subscribe for a couple dollars, and and you still get something in return. Yeah, that's a whole different topic. Sorry, I get off track there, but if you guys do want to help, because I'm looking about like $2,000 to drop a motor, possibly. Like I said, I'm gonna try to get this one to work, but I don't know. I'm just a little bit leery. This is an older engine. There's 96,000 miles or whatever on this thing, so maybe it just wasn't up to me adding all these nifty little parts on it. The older engines weren't really known for lasting super long time. I mean, it still pulled 200 on the dyno. It kind of read to me like it was in good shape. Oh, I'm going to put a picture up here. I was looking at pictures of the cylinder heads I pulled off, and oddly enough, like, on both sides of the engine, it maybe has to do with the tune port. Maybe the tune port just didn't flow. I don't know. But it's just kind of weird that 3 cylinders on both heads, the valves almost look really lean, like white, and then 2 of the cylinders look excessively black, like they're just worn, and maybe just blow by coming by there or something. Or maybe those were just the ones that were really close to the EGR. I don't know. I don't know if the EGR only blew maybe into those 2 cylinders, and that caused some issues. But anyhow, man, you know, I don't know. I mean, a compression test would be the true tell sign, and I'm probably gonna end up doing that before I end up committing to buying an engine. I just really dreading pulling out all these spark plugs and then trying to thread this thing in. But I need to pull out the plugs and see what they look like. So there's going to be a lot more work. I got a lot more work ahead on this car. I'm going to start pulling the spark plugs. I'm going to start playing with the throttle position sensor, and then we're going to try to get this thing to run one way or another. If not, then the cam just truly is too big, and we're going to have some work to do on this car. It's going to be a never-ending project. The garage is coming. Should have the concrete, I think, by the end of actually this week. I just talked to him today, and I think he said he might be ready to pour by Friday. He's going to be here later today. They started doing the forms in the back. He had to rent a tractor and friggin' dig out some big roots from a tree that's really close. So this is more money and stuff, and it's running out quick, guys. It's really running out very quickly. The money for the garage, you have the garage, the concrete, the land clearing. It's all added up very quick. I've had to add a gate to this side of the house. So I'm still waiting on my retirement to come through. They're really dragging their feet on that, and it's financially hurting me bad. So, you know, when I bought this car, I sold my Trans Am, and I used that money to buy this car, and I had some money left over for some parts, and I wasn't expecting all this to take over a year to happen. So yeah, so I mean, right now that's another thing, just like money is kind of gone. I really cannot put another dime into this car, really. So anything I do now is just gonna be real minimal until retirement comes in, or we get this channel like really takes off and I get some good ad revenue, or we get some donations rolling in, something like that. So that's where I'm at with that. Like I said, the funds are just kind of, I cannot, what little bit I have left in the bank I need to save, because right now basically my income, my outgoing expenses exceed the income, and I've been living kind of what I had on savings, and that's just kind of coming to an end. So that's where we are with that. But hopefully, you know, this retirement will get approved, and I'll get a nice back pay, and then that'll just be some good money to put in the bank, and then I'll have something to, because right now I don't have money for the lift, I don't have money for anything on this car, so gotta try to make do with what I got. So that's where we're at with this build. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I was going to go out and drive the other Camaro and go out and about, but I'm trying to honor the request of law enforcement and the governor to not be out and about, unnecessary travel. So I'm sitting here, just use this as my backdrop. Would I do it again? Probably not. I had a good, reliable car. It sounded good with the Borla. It looks really good with the rims. I fixed the seat. We fixed the headliner. The stereo sounds pretty good in it. I think I should have probably left it at that. I mean, a small part of me is almost just like, go to AutoZone, get a rebuilt engine, and just throw the first TPI on the top, and just send it. Call it a day. It won't make anywhere near the power, but it will look fantastic, and it will be reliable, hopefully. I don't know. But I would really like to get that GM Performance short block. Like I said, Summit Racing has, it's like $2,200 or something like that. That's kind of like I said, possibly the route that I'm looking at. Like I said, we'll do a compression test and figure it out. So there's the update on that. Thank you everyone for your continued support. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I know it's boring. I really don't like doing these videos where I sit here and talk in excessive amounts, but it is what it is. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't. Get some merchandise, help with the build, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much for watching.